I have a question. So yesterday I was watching you fly, Cyril.
Me?
Yeah. And like even when you reach soaring, you're using the back risers, right? And I'm new to the whole back risers, like trying to steer and trying to fly with the back risers.
Yeah.
And to me, it was always like that's more for thermaling or for like cross country when I'm in different conditions to reach soaring. And so then I started trying it myself, but I just could not get it. It didn't feel as efficient to me as using the brakes. But that's maybe because I'm so used to using the brakes that I just could not get it.
What was less efficient for you?
Using
Like he was slower to turn?
or maybe it's because I'm not actually doing enough input with the back risers, and I'm trying to get comfortable with it. I had that chat with Brad as well, and he gave me a really good tip about just you might explain it better than me.
So Edgar's talking about on a lot of the newer gliders, there's a link between, like you've got your A, B and C risers, and on beginner gliders, they're all kind of separate, but when you pull on the speed bar, it pulls the front leading edge down so you go faster. But on a beginner glider, there's no link between these, so if you pull down on the C's, the aerofoil just kind of kinks at the back, it pulls the back half of it down, so it's not very efficient, but when you're on speed bar, that's what you should be doing to steer. You never use your brakes on speed bar because it'll, like your wing can collapse more easily. So this system has, like Edgar's has pulleys, so that when you pull on the rear risers, it pulls the B riser half down, so the A riser stays, so that you can basically twist the wing or change the angle of attack without putting a kink in the profile of it. Cyril's flying a two-liner, so it only has A's and B's. So he's basically hanging off the leading edge of the wing, and his rear risers that he's pulling down is just changing the angle of attack. So you can change it one wing or the other. So if you change this wing, it creates more lift. Because it's a curve, the lift pulls out that way, so it turns you around that way. So Edgar's kind of is in between a beginner glider and a two-liner. So that system is trying to kind of emulate what the two-liner gliders are doing. And it does it pretty well, but there's just more resistance because it's using pulleys and strings, and you're not fully hanging off the front risers or the front lines like you are on Cyril's.
What do you fly?
Vivo 2 air design. Is
A B wing?
High
is a B.
Yeah. So most high Bs now have, it's called a BC system, so it's just a link between the two.
Is this so that you can get a relatively flat turn?
No, it's just so that when
which
you...
which is more efficient and you lose less height?
The main advantage is when you're on speed bar, you push on speed bar and it tilts the whole wing down.
Yeah.
So then while you're on bar, you can then pull down on those and it twists the whole wing back to trim if you pull down far enough, rather than just kinking the back of the wing. The whole
if it pulls it back to trim.
Yep. But you can do that on either side, and it means that you can stop collapses really quickly just by doing that with your arms, rather than having to lift your legs off speed bar. You've got a lot more, and you feel what's happening in the wing. You can feel the wing goes soft and hard and stuff as it goes through different air. And Stephen flies a two-liner, so he can...
Yeah, but I get off bar.
And I've got it on mine, and I find it amazing that you can, with just a little bit of tension, you can feel what's happening in the wing, and you can feel it almost shudder before it collapses, and you can just jab it like that and stop collapses really quickly. But I haven't flown a two-liner, but Cyril has, so he can tell you he had a BC system on his Sea Glider, and that's a story for another time. And now he's flying a two-liner, so he can explain how it feels different.
It also basically the speed bar lowers the angle of attack, right? And on a two-liner, when you pull the rear, you just increase the angle of attack. So basically I was on speed bar and I was on the back as well, so I was neutral, and then I was just playing with my hands to accelerate and slow down the glider. It's like a totally different way of flying a glider.
Yeah.
and because it's a new glider, I was just playing really.